Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the halfway point. I was clean-shaven when this started. Dear Lonnie, family, friends, Mr. President, members of the clergy, all of these amazing people here in Louisville. Today, this outpouring of love and respect proves that 35 years after he stopped fighting, he is still the champion of the world. Last week, when we heard the news, time stopped. There was no war, there were no terrorists, no global catastrophes. The world stopped, took a deep breath, and sighed. Since then, my mind has been racing through my relationship with this amazing man, which is now 42 years that I know him. Every moment I can think of is cherished, and while others can tell you of his accomplishments, he wanted me to speak and tell you of some personal moments that we had together. I met him in 1974. I was just getting started as a stand-up comedian and struggling, but I had one good routine. It was a 3-minute conversation between Howard Cosell and Muhammad Ali, where I would imitate both of them. Ali had just defeated George Foreman and regained the heavyweight title. Sport magazine made him the man of the year, and Dick Schaap, a wonderful writer and a great man, was the editor for Sport, and he was going to host this televised dinner honoring Muhammad Ali. So Dick called my agent looking for a comedian who did some sports material. As fate would have it, that comedian was not available, and she wisely said, "It's destiny, man." And she wisely said, "But listen, I got this young kid, and he does this great imitation of Ali and Cosell. He'd be perfect for you." So I don't know why, but Dick said, "Okay, I'll try him. If he stinks, I can cut him out of the show." I couldn't believe it. My first time on television, and it would be with Ali. I arrived at the Plaza Hotel. The event was jammed. I met Mr. Schaap, who would later become a part of my family. And he said, "Well, how should I introduce you? Nobody knows who you are." And I said, "Just say I'm one of Ali's closest and dearest friends." And my thought was, I'll get right to the microphone, go into my Howard Cosell, and I'll be fine. And then I nervously moved into the jammed ballroom, and that's when I saw him for the first time in person. It's very hard to describe how much he meant to me. You had to live in his time. It's great to look at clips, and it's amazing that we have them, but to live in his time, watching his fights, experiencing the genius of his talent was absolutely extraordinary. Every one of his fights was an aura of a Super Bowl. He did things nobody would do. He predicted the round that he would knock somebody out in, and then he would do it. He was funny. He was beautiful. He was the most perfect athlete you ever saw, and those were his own words. But he was so much more than a fighter as time went on. With Bobby Kennedy gone, Martin Luther King gone, Malcolm X gone. Who was there to relate to when Vietnam exploded in our face? There were millions of young men my age, eligible for the draft for a war that we didn't believe in, all of us huddled on the conveyor belt that was rapidly feeding the war machine. But it was Ali who stood up for us by standing up for himself. And after he was stripped of the title, and the right to fight anywhere in the world, he gave speeches at colleges and on television that totally reached me. He seemed as comfortable talking to kings and queens as the lost and unrequited. He never lost his sense of humor, even as he lost everything else. He was always himself, willing to give up everything for what he believed in. And his passionate rhetoric about the life and plight of black people in our country resonated strongly in my house. I grew up in a house that was dedicated to civil rights. My father was a producer of jazz concerts in New York City and was one of the first to integrate bands in the 40s and 50s. Jazz musicians referred to my dad as the Branch Rickey of jazz. My uncle and my family, Jewish people, produced Strange Fruit, Billie Holiday's classic song describing the lynching of African Americans in this country. And so I felt him. And now there he was, just a few feet from me. I couldn't stop looking at him, and he seemed to like glow, and he was like in slow motion, his amazing face, smiling and laughing. I was seated a few seats from him on the dais, and in the room were all of these athletes in their individual sports, great ones. Gino Marchetti of the Baltimore Colts, Franco Harris of the Steelers, Archie Griffin, who had won the Heisman from Ohio State, literary legends, Neil Simon, George Plimpton, all on the dais, fawning over Ali, who then looked at me with an expression that seemed to say, "What is Joel Grey doing here?" Mr. Schaap introduced me as one of Ali's closest and dearest friends. 2 people clapped. My wife and the agent. I rose, Ali still staring at me. I passed right behind him, got to the podium, went right into the Cosell. Hello everyone, Howard Cosell coming to you live from Zaire. Some would pronounce it Zaire. They're wrong. It got big laughs. And then I went into the Ali. Everybody's talking about George Foreman. I want to talk about George Foreman. George Foreman was ugly. He's so slow. George was slow. I come out, voop, voop, voop. And then I rope-a-dope George, and I'm still fast at 33 years of age. I'm so fast I can turn up the lights, be in my bed before the room gets dark. Howard, I'm announcing tonight that I got new religious beliefs. From now on, I want to be known as Izzy Yiskowitz. I am now an Orthodox Jew. Izzy Yiskowitz, I am the greatest of all time. The audience exploded. See, no one had ever done him before. And here he was, a white kid from Long Island, imitating the greatest of all time, and he was loving it. And when I was done, he gave me this big bear hug, and he whispered in my ear, "You're my little brother." Which is what he always called me until the last time that I saw him. We were always there for each other. If he needed me for something, I was there. He came to anything I asked him to do. Most memorable, he was an honorary chairman for a dinner and a very important event where I was being honored by the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. He did all of this promotion for it. He came to the dinner. He sat with my family for the entire evening. He took photographs with everybody. The most famous Muslim man in the world honoring his Jewish friend. And because he was there, we raised a great deal of money, and I was able to use it to endow the university in Jerusalem with something that I told him about. And it was something that he loved the theory of, and it thrives to this day. It's called Peace Through the Performing Arts. It's a theater group where Israeli, Arab, and Palestinian actors, writers, and directors all work together in peace, creating original works of art. And that doesn't happen without him. I had so many funny, unusual moments with him. I sat next to him at Howard Cosell's funeral, a very somber day to be sure. Closed casket was on the stage. Muhammad and I were sitting somewhere over there next to each other. And he quietly whispered to me, "Little brother, do you think he's wearing his hairpiece?" So I said, "I don't think so." "Well, then how will God recognize him?" So I said, "Champ, once he opens his mouth, God will know." So we started laughing. It was a muffled laugh at first, but then we couldn't contain ourselves. Here we were at a funeral, me with Muhammad Ali, laughing like 2 little kids who heard something dirty in church, and we're just laughing and laughing. And then he looked at me and he whispered, "Howard was a good man." One time he asked me if I would like to run with him one morning, do road work with him. I said, "Well, that'd be amazing. Where do you run?" He said, "Well, I run at this country club, and I run on a golf course early in the morning. It's very private. Nobody bothers me. We'll have a great time." And I said, "Champ, I can't run there. The club has a reputation for being restricted. Well, it's restricted me. They don't allow Jews there. They don't have any Jewish members. He was incensed. I'm a black Muslim, and they let me run there. Little brother, I'm never going to run there again. And he didn't. My favorite memory perhaps was 1979. He had just retired, and there was a retirement party at the Forum, Los Angeles, for Muhammad and 20,000 of his closest friends in Los Angeles. I performed a piece that I had created. The imitation had grown into a life story. It's called 15 Rounds. And I play him from the age of 18 until he's 36, ready for the rematch with Leon Spinks. I posted it on the internet last week, footage that nobody had ever seen before, of me portraying Ali, doing his life for him all those years ago in 1979. There were 20,000 people there, but I was doing it only for him. It's one of my favorite performances that I've ever done in my life. I sort of got lost in him. I didn't even know where I was at the end of the performance. And suddenly I'm backstage with another heavyweight champion, Richard Pryor. And Pryor is holding on to me, crying. And then I see Ali coming. And he's got a full head of steam, and he's looking only at me, and he nudged Mr. Pryor aside. And he whispered in my ear with a big bear hug, "Little brother, you made my life better than it was." But didn't he make all of our lives a little bit better than they were? That, my friends, is my history with a man. And I've labored to come up with a way to describe the legend. He was a tremendous bolt of lightning, created by Mother Nature out of thin air, a fantastic combination of power and beauty. We've seen still photographs of lightning bolts at the moment of impact, ferocious in its strength, magnificent in its elegance. And at the moment of impact, it lights up everything around it, so you can see everything clearly. Muhammad Ali struck us in the middle of America's darkest night, in the heart of its most threatening gathering storm. His power toppled the mightiest of foes, and his intense light shined on America. And we were able to see clearly injustice, inequality, poverty, pride, self-realization, courage, laughter, love, joy, and religious freedom for all. Ali forced us to take a look at ourselves. This brash young man who thrilled us, angered us, confused, and challenged us ultimately became a silent messenger of peace, who taught us that life is best when you build bridges between people, not walls. My friends, only once in 1,000 years or so do we get to hear a Mozart or see a Picasso, read a Shakespeare. Ali was one of them, and yet, at his heart, he was still a kid from Louisville who ran with the gods and walked with the crippled and smiled at the foolishness of it all. He is gone, but he will never die. He was my big brother. Thank you.
Mr. Billy Crystal.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's very little that I can add or say about Ali that he hasn't already said himself. And in this evening, I would like to pay tribute to this man who was a hero of mine with a piece that I wrote that he lived, and I call it 15 Rounds. Hello once again, everyone. My name is Howard Cosell. We are awaiting the arrival home of young 18-year-old Cassius Marcellus Clay, the young man who at the recent 1960 Rome Olympiad shocked and amused the world with his boxing ability and braggadocio, if you will. Here he is now, only 18 years of age. Cassius, do you plan to turn professional?
Yes, I do, Mr. Personnel. See, nobody's ever seen nothing like me. So fast, so pretty. I'm so fast I can play ping pong by myself. And I'm predicting that someday I'm gonna gain 30 pounds and I'm gonna become the heavyweight champion of the world.
Sunday Liston is not coming out incredibly young. Cassius Clay, just as he predicted to this reporter 4 short years ago, has knocked out the man he called the Big Ugly Bear and become the new heavyweight champion of the world.
I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I am Muhammad Ali. I will never be known as Cassius Clay again. Cassius Clay is a slave's name. I'm now a disciple of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm now a black Muslim minister. I am now Muhammad Ali.
In the top of the news today, the eyes of the sports world to focus on Houston, Texas, where heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay, is expected to refuse military induction on the grounds of being a religious, conscientious objector. Another news, the Vietnam buildup continues.
I will not fight in this war. This war is an unjust war. I cannot, will not fight.
Step forward when I call your name, please. Cassius Clay. Cassius Clay.
Gentlemen, please, I have a brief statement. As Commissioner of the New York State Boxing Association, we are issuing the following proclamation. A few hours ago, heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay, refused military induction. We are hereby stripping him of the heavyweight title. Now. The State Department is also revoking his passport. Therefore, he will not be licensed to fight any place in the world, including exhibitions.
Today, June 20th, 1967, Ali today was convicted of draft evasion, fined $10,000, sentenced to 5 years in prison. There will be an appeal.
For 3.5 years, I couldn't fight. My best years, my prime years, my great years. 3.5 years, man. My great years, my good years, 26, 27, 20.5, 9 years old, you know? But then, out of nowhere, the state of Georgia, 1970, gave me a license to come back and fight Jerry Quarry. Ugly Jerry Quarry. I couldn't wait. Only took 3 rounds. Phew, knocked that sucker out. Then I went into Madison Square Garden against Oscar Bonavena. Ugly, he's awkward, you know, coming at me. 15 rounds I had to go, 15 rounds, and I used the left hook. Phew, knock him out. And now Joe Frazier's the champion. I want Joe Frazier.
The winner and still heavyweight champion, Joe Frazier.
I still think I won. Now I guess I gotta start all over again.
Today, vindication. Ali's conviction for draft evasion today was overturned by the United States Supreme Court by an 8-0 vote. Ali was right. It is indeed an unjust war.
Howard, I'm free. I'm free at last. Now I can become heavyweight champion again.
Yesterday, an unknown heavyweight from San Diego, California, one Ken Norton, defeated Muhammad Ali, and in so doing, broke the ex-champion's jaw. Ali fighting 11 rounds with a severely damaged mandible. I'm in the hospital now with Ali. His jaws are wired shut. Perhaps poetic justice. But more importantly, at the age of 33, have we seen the last of the great one? Muhammad, is this the end for you?
No way, Howard. Ain't no way, Howard. Even though I don't have jaws wired shut, I'm still pretty, Howard. Ain't I pretty? Even though I got all this stuff, Howard. You don't think I can come back, huh? You with that vet you played. You don't think I can come back, man? When I can come back, all I've got to do is start all over again.
George Foreman is down incredibly here in Zaire, Africa. Muhammad Ali, at the age of 33, has knocked out a seemingly invincible George Foreman here in the 8th round and become only the second man ever to regain the heavyweight title. An incredible upset.
Go sell, you chump. I told you I was the greatest. October 1, 1975, Manila, the Philippines, Pearl of the South Pacific. Ali Frazier, the third time around. Frazier unable to answer the bell for the 15th round. The Thriller in Manila. This was not boxing, this was a war. A big piece of Ali remained in that ring. I fought everybody. Everybody there was to fight, I fought. I didn't duck nobody. I was colorful. I predicted the rounds. I was bigger than boxing. My fights are seen all over the world. I fought ugly Joe Frazier 3 times. I fought Ken Norton 3 times and sat through Mandingo twice. I was big about every place I go, they know me. I go to Bangladesh, they yell Ali. Ali, I go to Africa, they Ali Bombaya. I go to Russia, I see Brezhnev in person. Carter can't get him on the phone. And at the age of 36, I'm 36 years of age. I'm still pretty. Ain't that something? Not a mark on my face. Ain't that something? 36 years of age. I'm still fast. They saying I'm slowing down. You know, they say I'm so fast I can turn out the lights in my bedroom, be in the bed before the room gets dark. The only thing that could whoop me now is Father Time. It's over. Young Leon Spinks, with only 8 professional fights, has decision to seemingly aging Muhammad Ali here in Las Vegas. An incredible upset. So much like the young Cassius Clay 14 years ago in that ring in Miami Beach. The champ is dead. Long live the champ. He surprised me, that Spinks. I guess at the age of 36, you know, I couldn't train like I want to train, you know, couldn't do the things in the ring I want to do. Gave that ugly sucker the first 7 rounds and tried to come back after him, you know. Just gave away too much, you know. Every time I reached back for that something to knock him out, just wasn't there, you know. Hell, he was so ugly, I figured ain't no way he could beat me. Oh, Leon. Yeah, they took away his driver's license. He walked into a telephone pole. Everybody's saying to me now, they're saying, hey, champ, you must feel bad you ain't champ more. You lost to some kid who looked like a train ran through his face. I say, hey, man, I ain't got nothing to be sorry about. You see, everybody in life suffers a loss, you see. It's the one who can overcome the loss and make a success of himself that's really doing something. As I look back over my career, I was heavyweight champion 14 years ago, man. Ain't that something? 14 years ago. I had a great life. Allah's been good to me. 59 professional fights, made a lot of money, got beautiful kids, great family, got everything to look forward to. But something's eating at me. I don't want to go out losing to no Leon Spinks with 8 professional fights. I don't want to be remembered as being out of shape in that ring of Las Vegas. I want him one more time. And I'm gonna do it. I'm 36 years of age, my body's tired, I don't like training very much. But starting tomorrow, I'm getting in shape for that rematch with Leon. Getting up early, I'm gonna run with the moon. I'm gonna start hitting that table, I'm gonna do my push-ups, do my sit-ups, gonna take the punches, do whatever I have to do. And I'm gonna run. And I wanna be the first man ever to win the title for the 3rd time. Nobody's ever done anything like that. But then again, nobody's ever done anything quite like me. And I'm predicting that I'm gonna do it. Because I wanna be the heavyweight champ for the 3rd time. Because I can do it. And you can do it too. No matter what you was in life, no matter what color, no matter what religion, it's never too late to start all over again. Never forget that. And you'll never forget me. I am the greatest.